Welcome to Retail Reset. This is a curated virtual forum of content and conversations that's designed to help retail executives through the road to recovery and beyond. Today, I'm joined with Eric Hutchinson, who's the co-CEO of Rezident. Thanks for joining us today, Eric.
Thanks for having me.
And you're in a envious place right now, and outside in Southern California. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, it is nice. It's about 70 degrees outside. As I mentioned, we have a newborn inside crying, so we get some nice weather and some birds in the background.
All right, excellent. So today, Eric and I are going to talk a little bit about Rezident. We're going to learn about the business, and then Eric's going to share some insights about the D2C business and how companies are surviving and thriving through this pandemic. So with that, Eric, I'm just going to jump into the first question. Maybe you can just fill us in a little bit on Rezident as a business.
Yeah, so Rezident, we're a 3.5-year-old business. We started in late 2016, but really launched in January of 2017, focused on the bed-in-the-box memory foam mattress space. We've evolved the business over the last 3 years, where we have 3 key brands in the mattress space, as well as some other brands outside the bedroom and what we call Rezident Labs, where we're testing other categories. But principally what we've built is a digital marketing platform that's allowed us to very effectively launch brands in the mattress space. So we have Nectar that's in the memory foam space, Dream Cloud that's in the luxury hybrid space, and then Awara in the all-natural latex space. And I think one of the real benefits of the company as we look back is we built this business on a virtual platform. So whereas before we had offices in Tel Aviv, London, New York, and Mumbai, today we're 100% vertical, and so we've been able to lean into that aspect of the company as we've gone through this tectonic shift from a normal world to a world of COVID.
It's a very competitive business these days, the mattress business. How have you been able to achieve success?
Yeah, great question. It's a fascinating industry, and an industry that I'm new to. I was not in the mattress space before starting Rezident. There's a couple of really interesting things about this category. One, everybody in the world sleeps, so it's a massive category. Literally everybody is a potential customer. The other aspect is that there's some very specific categories within the mattress space. As I mentioned, we have a memory foam brand, we have a luxury hybrid brand. And so, and each of these categories is very competitive. What we set out to do was create brands that really communicate value to the consumer. And in kind of the new world where we live, where consumers are shopping a different way, value is communicated in really 2 different ways. There are the feature benefits of the product, and with a mattress, it's the materials, the construct of the actual product, but also the intangible elements of the value proposition. So, and that's free shipping and returns, your warranty, your home trial. So what we really try to do is marry a really compelling value proposition across both the feature benefits as well as intangibles, and then also price. So if you look at each of our brands, we're in a premium price point, but we really try to balance that price to deliver maximum value to the consumer. And what that's allowed us to do is speak to the average American. And so if you look at our sales across all of our brands, they very tightly correlate to the distribution of the population across states. And I think because of that, what we've been able to do is not just go after the early adopters, but to go after that shopper that's really looking to get a great product at a great price.
All right, terrific. So how has your business been impacted by the pandemic?
Yeah, so as I talked a little bit about, we've gone 100% virtual like other companies, so kind of leaned into the distributed remote workforce. And so, but with that, we've closed down our offices, and so there was definitely a shift to virtual. And I think, one of the areas that was most affected was our customer service group, where we've needed to scale that up and really support that group through a remote environment. And then the other aspect was the retail environment. So we work with over 2,000 retail partners or retail door partners, by and large, our partners all had to close down. And so that component of our business, decreased by about 90%. And then on the online side, that side has shown some really nice growth through this time. Sleep as kind of a component of health, I think has become a category that consumers have invested in, and they're investing in a great mattress and a great night's sleep. So we've seen some nice growth on the digital side. And another thing that we've done through this is really look at it through the lens of opportunity. So how do we invest in our brands online? And one of the ways we've done that is to come out with a really strong offer where we're giving more products away to consumers when they make a purchase. So again, trying to lean into our position as a value-driven brand. And then also on the retail side, put in place programs so as retail comes back online, we can invest in driving consumers that are comfortable going back into retail, into our retail partners. So we have a whole series of initiatives that to really lean in, be a great partner for the brick and mortar retailers.
So I know that Rezident has always been very focused on using data to help move the business. How is that focus on data helping you now?
So a couple of different ways that we use data that are important in this time. One is within the digital ecosystem, using data to understand the cost of media, whether that be through search, through social platforms, but also really understanding the change in how the consumer is shopping. And so, we look at radio, for example, where people are not driving to work anymore. And so, significant changes in terms of those patterns, as well as looking at, TV and how people are digesting video-based medium. And then as we look at the offline category, we're really trying to understand how consumer behavior is shifting between online and offline. And one of the ways that we're looking at this is we've divided every state up into one of three different categories: states that are closed, states that are open, and states that are partially open. And we're looking at things like conversion rate and traffic through store to really understand what that changing behavior is, and seeing some really interesting patterns where the conversion rate across all those three different buckets of states is staying relatively high, but we're also seeing some really nice traction in the states that are coming back online. And so trying to use data just to understand how consumer behavior is changing and how kind of the marketing ecosystem is performing so that we could stay ahead of it.
All right, terrific. So generally, sales are pretty good right now. Is that fair to say? Yes.
And I'd say that the digital side has more than compensated for the slowdown we saw in the retail. And over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, what we've seen is the retail side of the business start to come back online as states open up.
So are there going to be challenges with returns, or, I know that some people can have trials in their homes, with the pandemic and the virus, how are you handling that?
So there's another thing that we monitor very closely. I'm very proud to say that our return rate is kind of an industry low, and we've done that by really understanding consumer, plowing consumer feedback back into the product. So we have not seen any spike in returns. We monitor this very closely. We look at it on a cohort basis where we both look at what type of product you're buying as well as when you bought it to make sure that we're staying ahead of that. Our goal is, and I think going back to this industry, people are solving a sleep-related and a health-related issue. And as we deliver a great product that provides a great night's sleep, then we'll continue to be able to maintain a low return rate.
So what are some other ways that the pandemic is impacting the D2C space?
Yeah, so I've been talking to other friends that run other or companies in the D2C space, but in other categories. And across the board, what I'm seeing is that consumers are rapidly migrating their shopping patterns online and are looking to discover new brands in new and interesting ways. And those brands that are delivering value and are value-oriented are performing really, really well. Some of the companies that are at the high end of the scale, I think, are struggling a little bit. But by and large, I think this is a great time to be a digitally native brand. I think some of the challenges that we're all facing have to do with logistics. Saw a metric that FedEx is running at 187% of their forecast from a DTC perspective. And so the logistics ecosystem, I think, is extremely strained right now. And so, as FedEx, UPS, other logistics aspects of the ecosystem, come on that strain, it's going to take them a little while to adjust and be able to handle the new volume. So I think that's an area where we'll probably see some really interesting innovation in the months and years to come.
Yeah. So what are some of the permanent, I guess, ramifications of the pandemic? How what's going to happen, post recovery?
Yeah, I think what we've had is a glimpse into the future where consumers have been forced to go online and shop. And I think one of the really interesting areas is that consumers that historically have not felt comfortable buying in particular considered purchase online have been forced to do that. And so, our fastest growing demographic is 45 to 65. And so this is a population that I think historically has felt more comfortable through a traditional retail experience, but because of COVID have been forced to go online and are now discovering that, wow, this is actually a really great way to shop for products. So I think we're going to see what we've seen is this acceleration, and I don't think there'll be a return to normal. I think we'll see some level of an acceleration to a digital consumer world. I think the other thing that is less clear is what does traditional retail look like? Traditional retail is built on a revenue per square foot model. And if we've seen an acceleration of 3, 4, 5 years of consumer behavior, how do they adapt to have a retail experience that supports kind of the infrastructure? So I think it's going to be really interesting.
So how important or relevant do you think the stores will continue to be, the brick and mortar environments, for your brand and for
Yes, I look at this as an acceleration, and I think the brick and mortar experience is extremely powerful. There's no substitute for connecting physically with the consumer. And so having brick and mortar is a place where you can communicate the brand in a different way. You can create a more tangible experience. I think will continue to be an important part of an overall consumer brand. But I think it's going to accelerate how we think about that and how we use that physical retail, not only as a place to sell product, but as a place to engage with consumers, learn from consumers, and create another dimension to a brand. So whereas historically it was just another channel where you sold a product, I think we're going to have to think about it a little bit differently going forward.
Absolutely. And you use the term accelerate, which has been a word used in most of the conversations that I've been having with people lately, talking about, how retail needs to pivot and respond. All right. Is there anything else that you think is important to share with our viewers today? No, beyond that, it's an exciting time to be, in a consumer business where when things are changing, there's just so much opportunity. It's a great time to get close to your customers. Ask them, what else you can do. What other products are they looking for? What do they not like from the experience that either you're providing or that they're receiving from other retailers? And use it as a time to innovate. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold over the next couple months as hopefully we come out of COVID and we return to a new normal. It's definitely going to be a new normal. It's not going to be the old normal.
No, it's not. That I think we're all pretty sure of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us today, Eric. We really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks to our viewers as well. Be on the lookout for some more Retail Reset content coming soon. And just to all of you, have a great day and stay safe and healthy.